Hello, and welcome to my channel. It's the Network Specialist. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so that you know each and every time I upload a video. Now, before we get started, I just wanted to send out my sincere condolences to Queen Sheba and her family. I literally just found out that her brother passed away this morning. And oh my gosh, I just got that information. So I am so sorry and sad to hear that information. But Queen Sheba did set up a GoFundMe for her brother's memorial service. She did announce that he had a heart condition, so he was unable to be insured. And me being an insurance broker on top of my full time job. I totally understand that. And guys, I just want you to know that a baby can be insured within 14 days after 14 days of being born. So that way you eliminate, a diagnosis or your baby, not being able to be insured. So that's definitely something that you want to keep in mind is that a baby can be insured after 14 days of being born. So if you know anybody that is pregnant, having a baby, make sure you put that bug in their ear to go ahead and insure their child just in case some type of diagnosis does come up. They won't have to worry about that because their baby will already be insured and they will be able to, take care of the situation, in the event that they are diagnosed with a critical illness. So I just wanted to put that out there before we get started. Now, everything that I say in this video is allegedly and in my very own opinion and used for entertainment purposes only. So today I will be doing a recap of the Braxtons season 1, episode 6. It takes a village. And let's get into it. So in the first scene, Miss Evelyn and Tony meet up for lunch, and Miss E fill Tony in on everything that's been going on, the celebration for Tracy on her birthday, little Kev, and everything he has going on. And then Miss Evelyn mentioned the fact that Tony said she wanted to set her up on a blind date. For some reason, Miss E likes the idea of going on these dates, but she never likes the guys that people set her up with. It's kind of looking like Miss E is a little too picky and maybe she should just stay single. Not sure why she can't attract a man on her own. She's beautiful and, so it must be something that we can't see, like a bad attitude, or maybe she just comes off as being stuck up. I'm not really sure. So, in the next scene, Tamar is a guest on Carlos King's podcast. And let me just go over here to make sure that I can see the comments as they're coming up. Hey, Mama Bees, thank you so much for being here, sis. Um, so again, Tamar is a guest on Carlos King's podcast, and I even seen the guy, the Petty Pies, the one that was, assaulted by what's her name? I forget the one that just got out of jail. I don't really keep up with her on a regular basis. But anyway, she just got out of jail. And that's the one that assaulted him. But anyway, moving right along. So they are going over what they will discuss during the podcast. And of course, Tamar is a little nervous because she has seen his Messy Monday show. So she already know that Carlos is here for the mess. Okay. So he said that nothing is off limits. However, he does know her limitations, being that they are friends and everything. He kind of knows, what to keep, off the podcast or whatever the case may be. So Tamar kind of gives him the protruding lips face and then they laugh it off and everything. And knowing that Tracy and Tamar always had conflicts in, with each other, for me, the weird thing with Tamar is in every scene, she always claims that she is doing this for Tracy. Like she always have to mention Tracy in every scene. And then come to find out, Tracy told everyone but her, until the last minute that she had cancer. And even though she claimed they were in a good place, it's looking like Tamar is walking around with some guilt over how she actually treated her sister. So in the next scene, Tony and her stylist pays a visit to her fashion designer, Michael, who she calls Mikey, to try on some fashions for her residency show in Vegas. And she shares with them that her oldest son, Denim, is modeling, and she low key, you know, pitched him to be in Mikey's fashion show. And she also mentions that she needs to find, her mom a blind date because her mom wants to date. And Tony stepped up to help her out with finding, a date in this dating scene, which is very hard. But she tells her stylist not to mention it to her son because she doesn't want to feel like she's interfering. Tony wants to be his manager just to protect him because the modeling scene can be brutal, in that industry. So Mikey tells Tony, I have a lot of chores. I have to make you 8 pieces of fashions, find your mama a date, and put Denim in a fashion show. And Tony replies, it takes a village. So that's one of the things that, they, named this episode, It Takes a Village, because at the end of the day, it does take a village to raise a family and just be involved. Now, in the next scene, they show clips from the podcast with CK and Tamar shares. I'm sorry, CK shares with Tamar that, he was drawn to her in their previous show, The Braxton Family Values, and she wanted to know why. And he said she came on the show funny as a mf'er.com, and they showed clips of Tamar when she was being extra on the Braxton Family Values. And even though Tamar did sometimes try to steal the spotlight from her sisters, I really did like her personality on the show. And he tells her that she was arguably immediately the breakout star on the show. He then asks her if that had any effect on the relationship with her family. And Tamar replied that this is messy Monday, huh? She said that she really didn't know how to answer that question. And someone replied, honestly. And she said that it definitely started a lot of tension. And if she was being honest, if she was being honest, he then asked her if she regrets doing the show and if she felt like if she never did the show, the relationship would have been different. She then said, relationship wise, yes, but for the culture, no, it was necessary. The culture needed to know that they are not outcasts. They had a lot of lessons on the Braxton family values that a lot of families could relate to and understand. And sometimes when you see somebody going through the same things you're going through, it helps to get over what you're going through at the time. CK then asked Tamar to take us back to that moment, to all of her dreams, coming true. But did she feel like it was at the cost of her marriage? Tamar did a heavy sigh and she said she was 26 years old when she started dating Vince. And during that time, they were basically growing up together. And sometimes when you grow up with your spouse, you grow apart. And although she learned a lot from Vince, she is also proud of the businesswoman and the artist she is today. The love she had for Vince was very true and very honest, and she does feel like it was just for that time. So then CK replied that he was happy that they are in a great place, and Tamar said that they are definitely in a great place. And CK then said, the Braxtons are back. Hey, hey. And Tamar she took a sip of her drink, and CK said, rest in peace, Tracy. We loved so much. and we miss dearly. So Carlos King then asked, how was filming, so far? And Tamar replied, well, I'm a friend to the show, so I'm really not quite sure. Tamar went on to say, well, because this time around, I have to be mentally responsible. It was a lot for me, and a lot of people want to feel like everything she went through was fake or to get, attention, to get out of her contract, which she said is ridiculous. She was really going through it and she really felt captive, and it wasn't the best mental situation for her. Tamar also admitted that she wanted to quit the Braxtons since season 3. Her boundaries at this time, her boundaries are very firm. The first go around, she almost lost her life. She has a responsibility for her son, and she has a responsibility to show up for herself, and she has to remain healthy. But Tamar did say that there were different people over there now, I guess that the producers or whatever the case may be. And Carlos chimed in to say, and they look like us. So apparently, her producers are Black, and I'm assuming that before, it was, she had a different set of producers that couldn't really relate to what she was going through. And she still followed up to say she's a friend to the show, trying to convince us that it was not shade, but I think it was absolutely shade. Otherwise, why did you feel like it was necessary to restate that? We heard you the first time. So it seems like Tamar is being a little shady, when she announces that she's a friend of the show, and she definitely wanted us to know that she's not going all in this time because she has to protect her mental health. So Tamar said that people think that she is someone that she's not, that she wants all of the attention, and that is the farthest from the truth. She claims that she wanted it to be about all of them, and that it's still the goal for today with the Braxtons. So, truth be told, I am one of the people that feels like, Tamar, honestly, that is just who Tamar is. She doesn't do it to be malicious. It's just her personality, wanting to be in the spotlight. She probably doesn't even recognize when she's doing it. Okay. So Carlos King told Tamar that she has made his dreams come true, and he is a lucky, lucky boy to call her his friend. And, they hug it out. So she hugs it out with the snake, and that was that. So in the next scene, Miss E has lunch with three of her friends, which is actress Marla Gibbs from 227, her sister Angela Gibbs, who is also an actor, and she's Marla's daughter, and then Judge Maybelline, who's a judge and TV personality, and I love her group of friends. They are so funny, and they really fit her. So they asked Miss E what she's been up to, and she told them that she's just finished a cooking show with Tamar, and the friends shared some friendly banter. And then Judge Maybelline asked her about her dating life. She said she was going on a blind date, and she has to watch her kids because she reminisced about when Tawanda set her up with the 27-year-old. So she says she has to be careful when allowing her kids to set her up on blind dates because sometimes they make a joke of it. So then the ladies talked about the criterias of a man she was looking for. And Miss, Fancy E, which is what I'm calling her, said he has to be tall. He has to have some sense, he has to have some sense, and he has to have a bag and not a colostomy bag. Okay. So she needs a man with a bag. And nothing wrong with that, Miss E. You have to have standards and you have to know what you want. I get that. So Judge Maybelline asked her if it was important for him to have sensuality and sexuality. And Miss E said, is that Miss E said that if, she desires, you know, for him, if she desires that, she wants him to be able to fulfill all of her needs, and heavy on the if she desires that. So they, continued with camaraderie, and Miss E said that she is ready, Freddie, and the ladies chimed in to say she is ready for Freddie or Teddy or Eddie. So she's definitely ready. So in the next scene, Tony shows up to a photo shoot that her son Denham was doing, and she said that she was thinking, of it as a business meeting because she is hoping that he will be open to her managing him. And she wants to see how serious he is about modeling. And she did admit that she is a little concerned because, the fashion and the entertainment world can be very cutthroat and competitive, but she has to be careful or she won't be invited to his next set again. So she's low key trying to be his manager, but she's trying to do it in a subtle way so that, he doesn't run her off and just don't want her to be involved whatsoever. So then, you know, they shot some photos together, mommy and son, which were very, super cute. And he actually picked out the photo that he was okay with her posting on social media. So he gave her permission to post a picture that he chose. And then he expressed how much he was grateful for his upbringing, his mom and dad, and the whole family pretty much always supporting him. But he wants to create his own name. He's always going to be Tony Braxton's son, but Denham Braxton, he wants that to mean something as well. And Tony said she gets it. And for any mom, that would be a proud mommy moment, and she realized how important it was for him to do it on his own. No mommy management for him. She gets it. So in the next scene, Miss E meets up with the blind date that Tony found for her. She spotted him out right away. Right away, she started to critique this man. She had an issue that everything he had on was purple. I personally thought for an older man, he was handsome and had, some swag about him. I'm really not sure what she is looking for at her age. She did not exchange numbers with this man. So obviously, he ain't her type. I think if nothing else, she could have had fun with this nice and pleasant older gentleman. Miss E is, in my opinion, too picky. It takes more than a lunch date to get to know someone. So good luck on your dating ventures, Miss E. You seem to be a little bit picky and definitely the problem. And besides, most men her age are already married or in the grave. So the pickings are very slim, just in case you haven't figured that out. So in the next scene, Kevin Jr. met up with the grief counselor Spirit that the family met up with previously on, the first episode. And he shared that this year has been the hardest year of his life. His wife blindsided him asking for a divorce. And he told her that he's going to pray for his family because he really wants his family back. The counselor told Kevin Jr. that he has to give himself permission to do what's best for him. And then after the grief session, he took a break for lunch and he was, you know, on a FaceTime call with his soon to be ex wife. And out of nowhere, Kevin started slurring and she asked him what was going on. And he said he feels weird. And then the phone blacked out. So Kevin Jr.'s wife texted to Wanda and said Kevin may be having a seizure. He isn't answering. Tawanda said that the seizures are stress induced and that he started having seizures after Tracy passed. Tawanda expressed how grateful she was that the producers, and the whole team was there so that he wasn't alone and they were able to help him. When she laid eyes on Kevin Jr., she gave him the biggest hug and asked him if he was okay. And he said, I guess I have to take my medicine more. She then called her mom, Miss E, on speakerphone to let her know that he was okay and that he had a seizure. And he told his grandma that he was just stressed, but he's feeling better now. And she told him that he has to lighten his load and limit, what he's doing at the current time. So production brought him his medicine, and Tawanda expressed that he was suppressing everything for so long, and this is how it's coming out. He has court the next day in Maryland, and he is in no condition to get on a plane and make it to court. So Tawanda called his soon to be ex wife to see if she could postpone the court date. So in the next scene, Trina and Miss E came to visit and basically pick up Kevin Jr. to take him to the airport. He shared with them that even though his soon to be ex wife told Tawanda that she would postpone the court date, she actually went through with, the divorce, and she got full custody of baby Kevin, which is his son. And they attempted to comfort him by telling him that he can't appeal that. But honestly, Kevin Jr. looked like he just got the wind knocked out of him. He said he wanted his house, which she took that too, and it was kind of a gut punch. He felt really betrayed because she told him that she would reschedule the court date, but she didn't do that. He said a lot has happened in just 24 hours. So this poor young guy is really going through it. In a matter of 24 hours, he had a seizure, and he found out that his soon to be ex went ahead with their court date, and so now she has full custody of their son as well as the house. So he felt really betrayed because she told him that she would reschedule the court date, but she didn't do that. He said, a lot has just happened in 24 hours. So Miss E and Trina did their best to comfort him and told him to get a lawyer and make sure, he's in his son's life. And that would get through, and he would get through it because he is his mother's son, and she didn't let anything keep her down. You push her down and on one end, and she bounces back up on the other. And that's who he is. And she assured him that he would be all right. Miss E then said that what worries her about Kevin Jr. is that he's in the valley and in the shadow of death, and he cannot really find happiness right now until he gets through the valley. And she believes that it's going to take a while. Okay. So that's pretty much how the show ended. And hey, Valerie R., thank you so much for being here. Hey, Miss Bell. And she said, agreed. And she also said, not in the grave. And Mama B said, that is so sad. It really is. Like to see a young man go through so much at such a young age, it is really sad, Mama B's. And moving right along, this show is starting to be a lot like Love and Marriage Huntsville. There is a lot of things that are going on outside of the show. So I wanted to share some things with you guys that has transpired off the show. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Give me 1 second, guys. Oops, excuse me 1 second. And guys, put it one in the chat if you can hear this once I get it on.
Me no. You told me no. You told me no. You told me no. You told me no. When I asked you if Lincoln live in a house, at the condo, you said no though. But you said no. You told me no. You told me no.
Thanks,
I'm not
Leon.
lying. I have no reason to lie to you. Who your motherfucking dude? There you go. There you go. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. It was before your motherfucking mother cancer. Before my wife cancer. Me no. You told me no. You told me no. You told me no. You told me no. When I asked you if Lincoln live in a house, at the condo, you said no though. But you said no. You told me no. You told me no. I'm not lying. I have no reason to lie to you. Who your motherfucking dude? There you go. There you go. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. It was before your motherfucking mother cancer. Before my wife cancer. Me no. You told me no. You told me no. You told me no. You told
Guys,
me no.
in
When
this
I
clip,
asked
Kevin Jr. and Kevin Sr. seems to be having, some type of altercation where Kevin Sr. starts to attack Kevin Jr. And it does seem like they've had something to drink. So maybe it was a drunken, altercation. But at the end of the day, it seems like Kevin Sr. is a bully. Now, let's hear Kevin Sr.'s response to this altercation. So let me stop sharing this and pull up Kevin Sr.'s response to this altercation. And guys, once I get it pulled up, let me know if you can hear this as well.
Unfortunately, this video was recorded by someone with intent on gaining notoriety and defaming my character. During this exchange, some disrespectful remarks were made. As a father, I felt it was important to address this situation firmly and in the moment. I want to make it clear that no physical altercations occurred, and this incident happened some time ago and is being made to seem recent. It's disheartening to see this recording being used to create division and to mock our relationship. It feels like yet another instance of personal family disputes being exploited for attention. My priority is to protect the integrity of my family in a constructive way and to minimize the emotional impact during this time of crisis. The episodes of Sessions with Surratt are my way of sharing my side of the story, free from the rumors.
Only on UrbanSmartNetwork.com.
I want to address the video that's been circulating on social media. It's showing a disagreement between my son and I. Unfortunately, this video was recorded by someone with intent on gaining notoriety and defaming my character. During this exchange, some disrespectful remarks were made. As a father, I felt it was important to address this situation firmly and in the moment. I want to make it clear that no physical altercations occurred, and this incident happened some time ago and is being made to seem recent. It's disheartening to see this recording being used to create division and to mock our relationship. It feels like yet another instance of personal family disputes being exploited for attention. My priority is to protect the integrity of my family in a constructive way and to minimize the emotional impact during this time of crisis. The episodes of Sessions with Surratt are my way of sharing my side of the story. Free.
Okay. So, guys, two things. But first, let me get caught up on the comments. So, Valerie R says, do we know why Kevin's wife filed for divorce? Valerie R, we don't know the specifics, but allegedly, and from what I'm hearing, when he was arrested, it was due to some type of DV type of situation. So allegedly, I believe that they had some type of physical altercation, meaning Kevin Jr. and his wife. And I believe that that has something to do with the reason why she filed for divorce. And hey, Michaela, thank you so much for being here. And she says Kevin Sr. fought Kevin Jr. Have you seen the video? So yes, that was a video that I was just playing a minute ago. The altercation. It's very grainy because I believe that it was caught on some type of ring camera. So it is very grainy, but we can clearly hear that they're having some type of physical altercation. And even though he says it was not physical, it did sound like it was physical. And Valerie R said, "Oh wow." And Valerie R also said that it sounds physical to me. Now, guys, I was kind of side eyeing to Wanda because it seems like this whole, you know, the Braxtons, all of the first 6 episodes is really about Kevin Jr. So I think it's a thin line with, the family exploiting Kevin Jr. when the show is supposed to be about the Braxton sisters. Now, I understand that this is their real life and this is kind of what they're going through at the time, but I also feel like he's in a very vulnerable state. So I'm not sure if he can handle the pressure of going through what he's going through and also having to go through what he's going through publicly, if that makes sense. So I am still side eyeing mainly to Wanda and maybe a little of Trina and Miss E because I just don't want to think that they're exploiting their young nephew who's going through so much to the point where he's been having seizures since his mother passed away for a check. Now, I also feel like now that I've seen this video of Kevin Jr. being assaulted by his father, I kind of feel like that's the reason why Tawanda is going so hard because Kevin Sr. is definitely being a bully to his son Kevin Jr. and just trying to, control his son in this situation because he didn't like the outcome of the decision that his wife Tracy made before she passed away. Kevin Jr. didn't make that decision. It was his wife. Okay. And I'm pretty sure when she made that decision, it was a reason why she made that decision. So, what do you guys think? Are you leaning towards the side of Tawanda and the Braxtons, or are you more on the side of Kevin Surratt? Now, I am glad that Kevin Surratt is speaking out because we need to know his side of the story as well. We all know that there's 3 sides to a story. There's his side, their side, and the truth usually lies somewhere in the middle. And Valerie R says, I think you're right. He is upset that Tracy chose Junior to handle her estate. He's definitely upset about that, but he's taking his anger out on Kevin Jr. when he's really upset that Tracy made that decision, which is really a shame. Like his son just does not have the mental capacity to deal with all of these stressful situations. Losing his mom, going through a divorce, having all of these responsibilities of, being the person that was put in charge to handle his mom's trust, her likeness, her images, just everything when it's, concerning his mom. And in a way, I can see why she did that. And I feel like it's because she knew that her son would work with her sisters to make sure that she was showed in a good light. And Valerie R. also said, I don't believe that Kevin Jr. manipulated Tracy, which is what I thought Kevin tried to say. Well, what he's trying to say, Valerie R., I believe, is that Tracy wasn't in her right mind when she signed those papers. And according to her attorney, she was absolutely in her right mind. She knew exactly what she was doing the day that, one of the days that, they talked about what she wanted, in her will. He came over, they had a lengthy conversation, and Tracy actually allowed her attorney to record those, conversations because she knew that she would get pushback from either she knew that Kevin Jr. would get pushback from either his father, Kevin Sr., or from her sisters. So he actually has recordings, which I can't wait for those recordings to come out. It might not be any of our business, but at the end of the day, to hear Tracy make those statements, in her own voice, like that would just seal the deal for me. So I think he's more trying to convince his son that Tracy wasn't in her right mind when she signed those papers. But, the attorney said that he came over, Tracy cooked him oxtails, and we all know it takes a long time to cook oxtails. So he had to be over there for hours, and they had to have some very lengthy conversations. So he knew exactly what Tracy wanted. And her attorney said that she wanted her son to be in charge of everything. She did leave her husband the money that was in both of her bank accounts, whatever the case may be. So she did leave him some things. But at the end of the day, I think that Kevin Sr. wants to still be able to make a bag off of Tracy, and he's not able to do that. So the sisters and the Braxtons knew in order for them to be able to do this TV show, they had to get Kevin Jr. on board. So I think that the reason why they're all of a sudden, sticking with Kevin Jr. is because they need him on their side. So he's kind of in the middle. He has his father pulling him in this direction, and then he has his aunties and grandmother pulling him in this direction. And I just don't think that this young man is capable of all of this stress, you know which is why he's having the seizures. And I feel like he's not really taking the seizure medication is because Tracy's been gone for a little over 2 years. So he didn't start having these seizures until she passed away. So he's not used to having these seizures. So he was probably just thinking it was like a one time thing. But apparently, he's going to need to make sure that he takes his meds or he's going to continue to have these seizures. So I think when he had it the last time right after sitting with the therapist, maybe and hopefully he sees how serious this is and he'll start to take his meds on a regular basis. But guys, this is so sad. Out of everybody, I really feel bad for Kevin Jr. because this guy, I want to say he's between the age of 27 and 30 years old. That's a lot. Like, I have grown sons that are just a little bit older than Kevin Jr., in their 30s. They're all in their 30s. So I can't imagine my sons having that much responsibility as well as going through a divorce or whatever the case may be. It's a lot, you know. So, you know, I just hope that, as time goes on, he's able to, deal with everything that's going on around him and, ultimately put himself in a better place because this is a lot what he's having to go through. And I hope that, the Braxton sisters are not just trying to, you know, be around him for a check and that they really pay, close attention to what he has going on and offer him some type of assistance. I don't know if maybe they should ask him to move, closer to them so that they can monitor him on a regular basis because it does seem like that's what he needs. When he was staying at the hotel during his scene after meeting with the therapist, he did say that he didn't really want to be alone. And now that the wife has the house, like, I don't know where he's going to live. And it's just not a good time for him to be alone. Now, his father has said that, him and his son are in a good place, but one thing that I did notice, you know, about what Kevin Sr. said when he came out to address the altercation. He said that this video happened some time ago. He was not clear on when the video happened. So, for all we know, it could have happened 5 months ago. It could have happened a month ago. It could have happened 3 months ago. And I feel like if he didn't have something to hide, he would have been a little bit more clear about when that altercation actually happened. Now, when it comes to Tracy's house, I believe, she did leave her husband that house, but I believe that he couldn't afford the house. So ultimately, he lost their family home. So, you know, even when you look at the video that Kevin Sr. did, that man also looks depleted. Like, you know, Tracy would be turning over in her grave if she knew or just, what her family is going through at this moment. Like, it is so sad, because what it seems like to me, if, Tracy was the glue that held her family together. And now that she's not here anymore, they can't seem to get it together you know and I also feel that way about the Braxton sisters. She was also the glue that held them together, and now that she's gone, they're having a hard time making their life work, or whatever the case may be. And for me, it's something about Tawanda and her boyfriend, the one that after all these years has not married her. It's just, I get a weird vibe when it comes to Tawanda and her man. I don't know what it is about them, but there's something about them that I just don't trust. And let's see. Oops. Let me get caught up. Valerie R said, it's been hard for me to watch this version of the Braxtons. It's so sad and toxic. It is sad, Valerie R, but at the end of the day, this is their real life story. This is their real truth. you know and families go through this every day when someone passes away, so hopefully their story will help somebody else that's going through the same situation. Hey, sound check Annette, you're late but you're here, sis. Thank you so much for being here. And Valerie R also said, didn't Tracy say that Tawanda is a snake? She definitely said that Tawanda is a snake. And like I was just saying, it's just something about Tawanda that I don't get a good energy from Tawanda. I can't quite put my finger on it, but once I seen the video of Kevin Sr. and the altercation, it kind of, put Tawanda in a better light, because obviously she's going hard for her nephew because he's being bullied by his dad. So I totally get that. But even before that and even after that, there's still just something about Tawanda that I don't trust. I'm sorry. Um, I don't trust the guy that she's with, and he seems like he's a bit of an opportunist. Like, he's just, staying with Tawanda so that he can have these opportunities to be on this family show, which I don't like, the fact that Tamar got with Colonel Sanders, or whatever the case may be. And I think that Colonel Sanders married her when he found out that she was going to be on this show, thinking that he was going to be able to be on the show. And once he found out that the sisters weren't having it, then that's why he hurried up and divorced Tamar. And I don't think he ever really loved Tamar. I just don't feel like he's that into her. I think that she's more into him than he is with her. And I also think that, he's seeking attention and he's a cloud chaser. But Kevin Surratt did say that he was supposed to be on the show, but for some reason, I don't know if it was because of the altercation, but they said that up under no circumstances will he appear on this show. This show is only for people who supported Tracy's wishes. So I think that a lot is getting ready to come out. We're going to see exactly what the issue is between Kevin Surratt Sr. and the Braxton family. We're probably going to hear something about what he did to Tracy before she passed away, which is why she left her son in charge of her estate. I just think things are going to come out and we'll get a better picture of why there's such toxic chaos within his family. So I'm looking forward to that. But again, guys, I really did enjoy this episode much better than the last episode. The last episode for me was a little lackluster. It wasn't that enjoyable, but I really enjoyed this episode. And although, Carlos King is a snake that we all know him to be, it seems like Tamar is on a totally different TV show. Most of her scenes are separate from her sister. So it seems like Tamar is almost in her own little world. And I think we talked about what happened with Carlos King's podcast. All of a sudden he stopped talking about them. So I guess he's not going to be doing them anymore. But he did get an appearance on the, Braxtons, which I'm sure he loves that. And, for me, it just seems like um, Carlos King would rather be in front of the camera than behind the camera. He's doing everything he can to be seen, or whatever the case may be, instead of being the producer who is normally behind the scenes. For some reason, Carlos King wants to be in the mix. So we're going to see, what plays out in the upcoming episodes. And if you guys could put it in the chat, have you had the chance to watch the Braxtons? I know a lot of you guys say it's hard to watch, you just haven't watched it, but I personally really like the show. So let me know in the comments if you were able to watch, this last episode, get caught up, or whatever the case may be. Let me know in the comments. And also, guys, just kind of let me know whose side you're on, because one minute I'm on Kevin Surratt Jr. side, and then the next minute I'm on Tawanda's side. And that's just due to lack of information. Once it's clear who the villain is, then, maybe I can really, stop flip flopping and just really see who's at fault here. Valerie R says, I haven't watched this last episode, but I will catch up. Please, 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 Valerie R, because we need more feedback. And we've kind of, I know in the last episode we did have the celebration because it was Tracy's birthday, so that's understandable. But, moving forward, hopefully it won't be so hard to watch because they won't talk so much about Tracy, and maybe we'll just get into the meat and potatoes of if Kevin Surratt, if there was infidelity involved. We know they did appear on that show, but Kevin Surratt denies having a baby on Tracy. And, from what I hear, that there was some infidelity in the marriage, but it was on both parts. Like, they both cheated within the marriage. So, hey, I feel like they were together when she passed away. So that's all I need to know. Like, you're going to always have issues in a marriage. That's understandable. And, if there was some infidelities, obviously she forgave him. She left him the money that was in her bank account. So if they weren't in a good place, I just don't feel like she would have left him anything. And Soundcheck Annette said, it's been hard to watch, but I will catch up. Okay. And again, hopefully these next episodes won't focus so much on Tracy, but I do believe that Tracy wanted some part of her story to be told. I do feel that. And I feel like she wanted her sisters because I believe she knew that they were going to, in some way, tell her story. So she put her son in charge so that they would work for him and she would be, showed in the best light. And so that's her only son, her only baby, her only grandbaby, and she loved her son. And, they were like best friends. And I personally can totally relate to that because my mom is like my best friend, so I can totally relate to, you know, Tracy and her son being like best friends and having an only child being a son, they're really close. And I think they kind of needed each other, like he needed his mom, to bounce ideas off of her. He didn't have to make, hard decisions in life on his own. He always had his mom, but now he has to make all of his life decisions on his own, and that's a lot. And the fact that him and his dad aren't getting along, that's just making the situation even worse. So hopefully, at some point, him and his dad can repair their relationship. And I think with their relationship being so public, I can see where Kevin Surratt Sr. will see how important it is after, he's getting dragged, like he is right now for being aggressive, with his son, so hopefully this will make him, just want to do better and repair the relationship with his son. And Mama B said, I haven't watched, I just listened to the content creators. Okay, okay. So you are here every time I do a recap, Mama B. So I'm pretty sure you have a pretty good idea of what's going on the Braxtons and these new seasons. So okay, so with that, you should be able to give some type of feedback. So that's totally fine. And guys, the show comes on tonight. So this is my, Friday watch night. So on Fridays, I definitely set aside some time to watch the show. And ultimately, I watched the show several times just to make sure I didn't miss anything. So I believe the show comes on at 9, and I think I watch it on Philo. That's my streaming platform that I'm able to watch the show on. I'm not sure about, you guys, but if you have that streaming platform, I'm sure if you start to watch it, you'll get into it because it is a very interesting show. And I do want to say that I did enjoy the scene with Miss E and her friends. That was so cute. And the fact that I think that's why she's so bougie is because she does have these celebrity friends, and they seem to be a hoot and they seem to really have a good time when they get together. So I did enjoy Miss E. And sometimes I kind of feel like Miss E is pretty much the more outgoing one out of the Braxtons. Like to me, her vibe and her personality is much more entertaining to watch sometimes than her own daughters. I do feel like that because she's not afraid to say what she mean and mean what she say. When it comes to a man, she knows exactly what she wants. She's feisty, she's fabulous, and she's beautiful. So she's definitely good for TV. And I think she's enjoying the Braxtons coming back more than anybody because obviously, once these older gentlemen see her on TV, she's probably going to get more dates, which I'm sure that's what she's hoping for, But I just hope that she can kind of, let her guards down and be more receptive to actually getting to know some of these guys that she's going on these dates with. I just feel like she's too quick to say, no, he's not my type. Like, what? I mean, I don't see anything wrong with her exchanging numbers with the guy that she had the blind date with. Just getting out, having a drink, having a good time. Like, she's just too critical. And I don't think that she understands that the dating scene is not in a good place right now. So if you're going to be so picky, ultimately, you're just going to end up being alone. And ain't nothing wrong with that because I'm a single woman and I love, being single and everything. But she's apparently trying to find a man. So she's just going to have to, make some changes and just try to give somebody a chance to get to know her. And I think she'll have better luck. So, guys, with that being said, let's catch up on the comments. Okay, so I think I'm pretty much caught up. Mama B says that she's gonna watch it. So that's gonna be pretty much the end of my recap of the Braxtons season 1, episode 6. It takes a village. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you have not already, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so that you know each and every time I upload a video. And if you're part of the replay game, please leave some comments and let me know what you think about this week's episode. I would love to chat it up with you in the comments. And guys, have a great weekend. And thank you so much for watching. And bye for now.